Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
My life used to be so meticulously structured, a comfort zone I'd built over years. I'm Bryce, a librarian, and my days were filled with the quiet rustle of turning pages, the soft click of keyboard keys, and the faint, comforting scent of old paper. My evenings were reserved for my vintage vinyl collection, each groove a familiar narrative, and weekly movie nights or Sunday brunches with my best friend, Colleen. She's an artist, vibrant and full of life, a stark contrast to my own quiet existence, and I cherished our dynamic. It was normal. It was me. Then the static started. It wasn't a sound at first, more like a vibration at the edge of my perception, a low hum that seemed to originate not from outside, but from somewhere deep within my skull. It began subtly, a faint pressure, and then the whispers. They weren't audible words, not precisely, but clear, intrusive suggestions sliding into my thoughts like unwelcome guests. The first time I was at Colleen's apartment, we were having our usual Sunday brunch. She had this hand-painted mug, a gift from her grandmother, unique and irreplaceable. The whispers, barely a murmur then, told me to swap it. I stood in her kitchen, frozen, the mundane act feeling like a betrayal. But the compulsion was overwhelming. I found myself replacing her mug with a plain, chipped one I'd inexplicably bought from a thrift store a few days prior. It felt like I was watching my own hands do it. When she found it, Colleen just shrugged, a strange, blank smile on her face. "Oh, I guess I used the wrong one," she said, her voice flat. She poured her coffee into the ugly mug. That night I went home and realized my prized, limited edition 7-inch single of a rare jazz track was gone. Not misplaced. Gone. The static grew louder after that, a constant low thrum beneath my thoughts. The whispers became more frequent, the demands more unsettling. They pushed me to leave cryptic, vaguely threatening notes for Colleen among her art supplies. She'd find them, read them with that same detached amusement, and say, "You're always so mysterious, Bryce." Mysterious. The words felt like sandpaper against my skin. The next week, an entire box of childhood photographs vanished from my attic, images of my family, of a younger, happier me. I started forgetting things, small details at first. The name of my elementary school, the breed of my first dog. Then it was larger chunks. A significant portion of a conversation with my colleague, Diane, at the library. I'd try to retrace my steps to pull the memories back, but they were just blank spaces, like missing frames in a film. Meanwhile, the static would force me to mess with Colleen's art. Not destroy it, just subtly sabotage her supplies, swapping paints, dulling her favorite brushes, hiding canvases. She'd sigh, attribute it to a run of bad luck, and carry on. The casual way she dismissed these things, the lack of any real concern, chilled me more than the whispers themselves. I tried to resist. I'd clench my fists, dig my nails into my palms until they bled, trying to fight the invasive thoughts. But it was like trying to hold back a tidal wave with my bare hands. The whispers would become a roar, a painful pressure behind my eyes until I obeyed. Each time, something else went missing. The memory of my grandmother's laugh, the scent of her baking. It wasn't just physical objects anymore, it was me. My reflections started to look different. Not physically, but there was something in my eyes I didn't recognize. A hollowness, a dullness. I'd catch glimpses of subtle distortions in my peripheral vision, shadows stretching too long, objects blurring into amorphous shapes before snapping back to normal. People, when they looked at me, would sometimes get a strange expression, a flicker of unease, before their gaze would slide off as if I wasn't really there. I tried to confide in Colleen, to tell her about the static, the whispers, the missing pieces of myself. She just patted my arm, her eyes glassy and unfocused. "You've been stressed, Bryce. Get some rest." It was as if she couldn't hear me, couldn't see me. Then came the biggest demand. The static hammered it into my mind with relentless force. Frame Colleen for a minor fraud at her gallery, destroy her career, dismantle everything she'd built. I screamed. I threw my vintage record player across the room, watching it shatter against the wall. I thrashed, trying to fight the overwhelming compulsion. The static became a deafening hum, vibrating through my bones, filling every cavity in my head. My own voice, when I tried to yell at it, came out as a hollow echo, barely my own. That's when it happened. I lost it. The memory of how Colleen and I first met. Our entire shared history, the genesis of our friendship, the years of trust and laughter, it was just gone. A cavernous void. I looked at my reflection again, and this time I didn't recognize my own eyes at all. They weren't empty, they were expectant, like someone else was looking out. I tried to scream her name, but all that came out was a guttural, meaningless sound. I don't know how much of me is left. The static is gone for now. There are no more whispers. But I know it won't last. I went through with it. I framed Colleen. She didn't even seem angry, just bewildered like a forgotten doll. I saw her face in the news, saw the wreckage of her career, and felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, no sadness. Just a strange, quiet satisfaction that wasn't my own. I see her sometimes. She walks by my window, a ghost of her former self, and I look at her without recognition. I know I'm looking at Colleen, but the connection, the warmth, the shared history, it's all just data in a brain that no longer belongs to me. I move through my days, a puppet on strings I can't see, controlled by a will that isn't mine. Sometimes a memory will surface, a fleeting image of a life that feels like someone else's dream, and a cold dread washes over me. But it quickly dissipates. There's no room for dread anymore. I'm just the shell, the vessel, and the world keeps turning, completely oblivious to the fact that Bryce, the librarian, is gone. Someone else is here now, and I am just an observer in my own body. I can't remember who I was, and sometimes when I look at you, I wonder what the static will take next.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.